Did you know that white is the most popular colour for Tesla around the world? Why? Because it's free. Well, it's included. The red colour, for example, is over €2,000 of an optional extra now. And this car has €5,000 worth of VRT on top. And that kind of irks me, because if the government want people to get into these kind of cars, they need to incentivise. And this car misses out on the grants because it starts from €66,000. This one is actually well over 80 because it has full autopilot, which is a €7,000 option. Does it really work in Irish roads? Legislation isn't there, so the answer is no. But it future-proofs the car, I suppose. Let's have a look around it today. The last time I had a look at a Model Y, the steering wheel was on that side and it wasn't on Irish plates. Does it make any difference now that I've had the car for a week? Let's find out. Welcome to Nobby on Cars. This is the Tesla Model Y. First of all today, let me demonstrate for you the Tesla app. That is fantastic and just works. Want to open the front? Here we go. We've got about 80 litres worth of space, front space, if you'd like to put stuff in there. A little bit of extra room. You could, of course, put your charging cables in there, should you like also. The front of the car, I'm not sure. It looks a bit of a frog to me. To me, the best looking Tesla is still the Model S. Maybe the Plaid coming soon, but I don't know. It's kind of it's a face that only Elon Musk's mother could love. I think it's a bit of a Model X, a kind of squished up version. When it comes to the side, you've still got sensors for your blind spot here, alloys. They're grand, you know. I do like the roofline of it and the full panoramic glass roof. Kind of looks like it's black from the front of the car. Door handles, you have to manually open them compared to something like the Model S. They're a little bit trickier for kids to get into. Got another sensor here, and the roof slopes nicely to reveal a nice spoiler. I love the angle of it. Electric tailgate, obviously. 854 litres is the boot space. Now there is a bit of a catch there because they're including everything. There's no parcel shelf in the back of this car, which is really odd because I don't know about you, but I still like to be able to hide things. Now there is a hidey area around here. In fact, you can put a small child in there. Wouldn't recommend it. Put a laptop or anything like that. Buttons to reveal the lower seats, make it very, very easy to adjust them. Cool. But no parcel shelf. That's just not going to wash. But 854 litres sounds very, very impressive when you're comparing it to something like the Audi 4, which this car is naturally going to be compared with, which is about 550. So loads of space off the floor for feet. Armrest is good. It's a fairly spacious rear area to sit into. You know, I don't think anyone could have too many complaints, and that glass just makes you feel like the outside is coming in, kind of. It's good. I like it. If you manage to find a Tesla supercharger, and actually there's plenty in Ireland for the amount of Teslas, you will charge this car. So it's capable of up to 250 kilowatt charging. I used Johnstown House Tesla superchargers yesterday, and in 10 minutes I got well over 100 kilometers. I was doing 170 kilowatt charging for quite a while, even towards the very end, because I did charge the car for a good 55 minutes. It was still delivering around about 35 kilowatts right at the very end. But the speed you can get, a quick blast, compared to, well, you've got to compare it to Ionity in Ireland or around Europe, but it is superior. And I love the way you just plug in the CCS charger, no apps, no messing around, it just works. And it's so refreshing, and there's always spare Tesla chargers. And to me, that's the goal. That's what we need to be doing. We need to pull up to public charging spaces where there's 7 ASB chargers, or we get more competition from places like EasyGo, but with high-speed chargers. I know Circle K are about to start rolling out 350 kilowatt chargers, but how expensive will they be? Anyway, back to the Model Y. We've got 2 charging port areas, slidey stuff here for extra space. We've got cup holders. We've got an armrest. The screen, tells you everything. And if you've never seen a Tesla before, that's probably the thing to get your head around most, because there's nothing in front of the driver or behind the steering wheel. So everything is contained in here. Spotify is integrated. You get the arcade games, your browser. You know, someone said to me yesterday, what do you do when you're sitting there waiting to charge? I was like, well, you can watch YouTube, Netflix, a full Google Browse software system. You can do whatever you want. Listen to your tunes, lie back and have a kip. But there's so much stuff contained in here, and it just works, you know, it really does work. My main thing about the Model Y in the last review was the ride quality. Has it been tweaked at all? And is it a better car to drive now in the full production version of the car? Let's find out. I don't think enough changes have happened to the suspension since I last tested the car. And I suppose if you've never driven a Model 3 before, it would probably seem better. But Model 3 is just such a fun car to drive and so engaging to drive and handle so well that I think this is always going to be the bridesmaid by comparison. It just sits that bit higher up. It's not that there isn't a load of grip, that's fine. You just don't really enjoy pushing it into corners as much, and it just doesn't respond as well. And then if you do go over a lot of ramps, like I was looking around at my young friend in the back of the car today in his seat, strapped in, and he was still bouncing around just on a road and knock line, which is, if you're not familiar, just, you know, a residential built-up area of Dublin. And yeah, like you can put the foot down and it has typical breathtaking straight line performance from any Tesla really. But it's just, it doesn't really know what to do with it, because you'll come to a bend and you'll just be slamming on the brakes just to get things a bit more composed again. There is also a couple of fun features like the light show in the car, which will, just for kids, I don't know anybody else why you'd want the attention, but it will do the light show. At night time is particularly spectacular to watch with the lights. The wing mirrors come in and out, the windows go up and down, the boot opens back and forward. It is missing the doors of the Model X, but you get the idea. Autopilot feature, it's a €7,000 option extra for the full autopilot. You double down on your stalk, it will help you change lane. You do need to keep your hands on the wheel though, and as soon as you take them off, it'll give you a warning to put them back on. It'll do auto cruise control, it will slow down for you in traffic, and it observes lights. It beeps if the light goes green, so if you're distracted, you'll get a little audible note to say it's time to go again. I just love the autonomy that comes with Teslas, and obviously the more you build in, like that €7,000 optional extra, the more you're going to get from that. But it is an awful lot of money. Main thing for me is it feels like a car that's just going to be better suited to countries that have better quality roads. If you were on this car in Germany or Austria or France, I think you'd be happy out. There's just times when, is it the Tesla letting itself down, or is it Irish roads letting cars like this Model Y down? I'm not quite sure, but it does strike me as quite a firm thing. Don't get me wrong, a Volkswagen ID4 on 20s or 21s feels firm enough also, so it's not exclusive to this car, but it's just particularly noticeable. So is, however, that straight, whoa! It's just seconds, it's like 5 seconds to 60, which will always feel, and that's not the performance model. Performance model is about 3. And in a car that's relatively high up in terms of seating position, you just feel it all that bit more. When you're fully charged, you'll get about 530 kilometers on the display. Real world minimum you're going to get is 400 kilometers. I do find with Tesla, what it says is fairly accurate, bar you hammering it at crazy speeds. Also notice that when you turn on your aircon, in most EVs, your range will drop by anywhere between 30 and 40 kilometers. It doesn't move in a Tesla, which is kind of mad. We've got 380 brake horsepower, so it really does feel very, very quick. The performance model is, I think, over 500 brake horsepower. Where you'd be going with a bell on your bike with that kind of performance, I don't know. But it always feels very, very quick. And on a smooth road like this now, it's beautiful. You know, the quality is fantastic. It's just when things get a little bit bumpy that you sort of say to yourself, wow, this is quite a harsh car to be a passenger or behind the wheel of. Need a bit of boot space, a bit of interior for a family, and something that will smoke most things at a set of lights though, and the Model Y won't let you down whatsoever. I can definitely see why some people would prefer this style of design of vehicle over something like a Model 3. For me though, it just doesn't change the game enough. The Model 3 drives better, looks better, and is cheaper. And really, the boot, yeah, okay, there's a bit more space there maybe, but if you don't need a massive boot, then just get the Model 3. One big advantage is obviously the fact that you can get this car within 4 months of ordering. Everything else is between 6 and 9 months and 2 years in some cases. So that's another pro for the Model Y. White, not the colour for me. And yeah, still a bit too harsh on bumps. But if you want a totally green electric car with loads of cool features, then it is worth a look. Thanks very much for watching. Please do hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you on the next one.